recording.
There we go. Now we're recording. Perfect.
So do we know who else have accepted the invite? Sridhar?
No, because for those members, right, those who are not part of the mailing list yet, the two nominations which I had shared to both you and Paul 2 days back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
John is joining. I see that.
Yes. Okay, good.
Good. I don't see. Susan said she wasn't going to be able to join this week because she is
On PTO.
Yeah, she's on PTO this week.
So I haven't received the nominations yet from other members, so I will share it as and when I receive.
Okay.
And obviously Dan has a conflict. You probably saw that in the chat on Slack. No, he provided the link. No, he did not. Okay. So anyway, do we want to kick off?
Sure, let's do it. I'm actually trying to create a wiki in our marketing and outreach wiki place to start notes. Sridhar, maybe you can give me a hand here. Let me share that. How do I create a new one here? Do I need rights to be able to create a new one?
Okay, give me 1 second. Give me a second. You're on the marketing and outreach, right?
That's, yeah. It says welcome to that wiki, and it doesn't contain any pages.
Members. Action. Okay. Now, can you refresh now? Refresh the page and see. Go back and refresh now.
Sorry, quick question from the Slack. When is that event in EMEA that we're looking for people to participate in? That's
It's the 18th of September.
okay. In Dublin, Ireland?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Our presentation is on the 15th. I don't know why I said 18th.
Okay. And we're looking for one person from the OPI Outreach Committee to represent, or one person from each member, or?
We're looking to have representation by more than one, John.
Okay.
So right now we have someone local and close to the OPI project from Intel is there.
Mm-hmm.
I was listed as a second presenter, and I'm very unlikely to be able to make that. So we're looking for some local support, someone from EMEA. so that,
Right.
the project is really represented by more than one company. Or community, I shouldn't even say project. A community looks like a community of more than
Sure.
one, right?
Okay, I'm gonna check with our marketing person in Europe. I think he's in London. I'll see if he's allowed to travel there.
Okay. Yeah, if you're in the Slack, you can click on the actual message, and there is a link to the session directly.
Okay,
So
yeah, I
it's-
see that.
Yeah, September 15th is the session on Thursday.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let us know.
All right, so that's I figured out how to start the notes. I've got notes started. There was an attendance. So what do we? What's first?
Are you able to share your screen, or how's this
Sure,
gonna
I'll share
work?
the
This is
screen as I'm
gonna-
doing it if you'd like.
No, I mean, I think we trust you or anyone who's going to be taking notes. Well, I think I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to structure or establish this meeting so it runs in consistent and repeatable format.
Yes. So first things first is we need to know who's going to be the named outreach committee members from each company. And Sridhar's got 2 of those. And I think, Sridhar, you've got a note out to the governing board in the governing board list to update.
Yeah, I sent a reminders to. I will send one more today, and let's see.
And see what happens. Okay.
I mean, do you need an additional confirmation from them again? Or I think Red Hat communicated that early on when we submitted our nominations for the board and CSC.
Right.
So we're just talking about the remaining companies, right? And I think F5 may have done the same.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, so there were some marketing nominations performed when we filled up, right? And then I'm just joining until we put somebody more dedicated in place. So temporarily, at least I want to make sure things are not wrong. So
Okay. Yeah, we would certainly want to make sure that, the members, the premium members have their representation here and,
Mm-hmm.
and their voice is included. So I think we invited, or at least I alluded to the fact that it would be good to have Dell, but I don't know, I don't see anyone from Dell here.
Well, I don't either. I think
And
Joe
I'm
said he was
sorry,
gonna look for someone.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Asim, I'm not sure what company you with.
Hello, this is I'm from Dream Big Semiconductor.
Dream big. Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
Yeah, awesome.
thank you.
So one of the things that we are tasked with is events. And another is reaching out to companies to join OPI. So Jan, should we list the events that we've got on tap? Who is intending on presenting there? And if we need additional presenters for each of those events?
Yeah, I mean, I can quickly walk through this. I can't copy paste because you're editing, right? I'm assuming this is not, this is not shareable as you edit, but you could grab
I
this.
don't know.
Yeah, you could grab this information from the Outreach Committee Slack channel. Very quickly, we have the Linux Foundation events, the open source summits in the regions that we certainly wanted to reach out to and kind of ping the local communities and make them aware of the OPI existence and potentially gain some additional support and interest. So the next one is in EMEA. It's called OSS Europe. It's in Dublin, as you heard. The official dates of the conference between Tuesday, September 13th and Friday, September 16th. We have submitted a session that has been accepted. This session is on September 15th, on Thursday. All of that info is in the chat or Slack, if you will. The just general rule of thumb, I think, for those who haven't been part of this, the submissions are typically made based on some conversations or based on discussions. We will, going forward, have those discussions on this call, and we will coordinate the submissions. So if you see, random names like mine, being used as a placeholder there, don't, necessarily react to that. It's just the fact that I made the submission doesn't necessarily mean that I can be all over the world. And same probably goes for majority. So we need to divide and conquer. That's where I'm going with it.
Is this Michael Lynch is presenting at that one?
Yeah, Michael Lynch is the presenter that is local. He's in Ireland, and that worked out. But we want to have additional, at least one person to be there to represent the community. The same abstract's been reused for the one in Japan. And that one is coming in December. It's early December. Obviously, there's no session yet. They haven't published the agenda just yet, but the dates, official dates, is December 5 and 6 in Yokohama, Japan. And then in between those two, we have the Intel On event, which is a session on the specific to OPI, and then Daly is listed there as a presenter, as well as Paul, I believe, and myself. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to attend that, but anyway, it's in the Bay Area. Just
Yes.
to get to the point, which is much easier to staff. And if people are local to the Bay Area, I think it should absolutely be their priority to support the communal effort here. So if you are based there and you'd like to be part of the session in any way, shape, or form, let's discuss that and let's get that recorded here. I know
We do that now. Sorry to interrupt. Should we do that now? Because I'm in Bay Area. I can go to a couple of these events. I like what you're saying. We have to do divide and conquer.
Absolutely.
And local, of course, I am there. So Intel, I can definitely go. I will go check on the Europe as well as Japan offline and come back. Yeah.
So the Intel On is in San Jose this year, September 27th through the 28th. Absolutely, Venkat, if you're willing and able, raise your hand. I believe Dell is going to also be there. And
I'm not sure. Dublin is likely.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. It's very weird, like a metallic, at least for me.
Yeah, I'm in a hotel out somewhere.
Okay, I got you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it's a little harsh sometimes, but go on.
Intel, I can make it. The Europe Dublin event, I will confirm in a day or two.
Okay.
Okay. I know. Okay.
All right, so that's that. We also may hear
By the way,
from.
Sorry, Jan, I saw my name on the Japan event. I don't think I can commit to that one. Or did you just take my name off the Japan?
I took your name. So sorry, that was part of the attendees. I'd started copying and pasting in the middle of the attendee list. So I moved it back up.
Okay, because I
All
think I
right, John,
volunteered. I
John, you
volunteered-
going? That's it. We got
Okay,
you here.
that's it. I'm going to Japan. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to go back, so that's good.
Start packing now. Yeah, no, I mean, we understand that, you know, given the situation that we're all in terms of, you know, restricted travel, you know, global, you know, health issues, pandemics and whatnot, this is all, you know, provisional, let's call it that.
Oh, Intel I can make it, so I don't need any
Right.
checking.
Okay.
For Japan and Europe, I will check.
Yeah, I think
I
Joe's,
can make Intel Innovation in September as well.
Is that John?
Yeah, sorry, John Kim can also attend the Intel Innovation event, September 27th, 28th.
Okay.
yeah, we need to.
We're gonna have to,
coordinate and
we've
who-
got a review of the deck coming up
Right.
sometime soon. I don't know when Dan's gonna post it.
Well, we're gonna start today. We're gonna start now on this call. We don't have a lot of time to waste because the same deck will be, or a very similar deck, I should say the same, will be used for the OSS presentation in Dublin. So we need to get that going because that's imminent. And yeah, we should also all check with Dan because he is the submitter of that session for Intelon as to how many total speakers,
Yeah,
you know, are allowed, because most of this conference is limiting the, you know, the panels to like 3 to 4 people. So we need to double check. I think right now we within that space, right? So we have, you know, if we call Dan a moderator, it's probably, I mean, I'm not familiar with that, you know, format of that
Correct.
conference, but he should be able to comment on this. I
Yep.
think right now we already have a good body of folks representing.
yeah. We may, and if we have to do something like we did in Austin, where just invite everybody that's in the room that is associated with OPI on the stage near the end and introduce ourselves, and then provide an opportunity for the audience to ask questions of us, that would be good. We can
Okay.
try that.
All right.
This other event real quick, Ione.
Yeah. So Ione is a existing, you know, I want to call it, it's not a standards, it's really more of a collaboration body that some of the companies that are on OPI also participating in. We have our CTO being directly involved in being the executive sponsor of this, and so it has a pretty high visibility. They are looking for utilizing GPUs, IPUs, whatever, in their infrastructure as they're building it. And it stands for Innovative Optical and Wireless Network Global Forum. So long story short, our rep there, who is more of a, you know, activist slash, you know, evangelist engineer working there, has been making inroads, and we made a presentation a while ago from kind of Red Hat's perspective, because we were hosting the meeting, Ione meeting in one of our offices. So myself and Chris Murphy, as well as our CTO, Chris Wright, kind of presented the, you know, the notions around OPI, and it raised a lot of interest. So they invited us back to have a dedicated session in New York, and that's in October. So we need some coverage there. Again, it's more likely that you know, someone from Red Hat will be able to attend. If not, it will be Hideki, who is our Ione rep, and he's by now he's pretty familiar with what we're doing in OPI, but we're going to need more of a technical chops. So I'm thinking maybe we'll ask, Joe said he can help, but I'm thinking Boris is local, so he may be able to go there in person. It's a 90-minute session divided by 2, so it's 45 minutes for the OPI, and another 45 minutes is something else. I already have a draft agenda or an abstract, I should say, for that session that I would be happy to share as soon as we finish the internal review.
Wouldn't it make sense to have one presentation that everybody uses, that maybe, the core presentation stays the same, a few slides, and then we add a few before and a few after just to fit into the conference, but the core should remain the same in my mind for everything.
Well, absolutely. That's the one we're going to discuss next on this call. That is the topic. Yeah, we absolutely need a core presentation, which we already have, and so we just want to make sure it's reviewed, understood, and augmented as needed here, and then we're going to start tailoring that to particular events. But the core presentation has been already used by several of us, including the announcement and the sessions that we had at Open Source Summit in Austin earlier this year. For the ION, I think they would need a little bit more of a technical detail, which would be great to include. And that's why we're thinking that 45 minutes should be sufficient.
Okay. And Boris is
that's
in
it.
New York. Is that what you?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I did say it's in New York. It's 24. It's in Manhattan. 24th through the 26th.
Okay.
And this is not a show per se, it's a meeting of that community. And this is a workshop that we will be part of.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
And so they're meeting in the Intercontinental Times Square. So I think they're renting that facility for a couple of days.
Perfect.
All right, so that's a quick overview. We are proactively, I'm just going to finish with saying that we are proactively should be looking at any and all relevant events where we could make people aware of OPI and where we see some even tangential connections, because you never know. OCP was a good attempt, but we kind of got shut down due to, I guess, their own inconsistent interpretation of how to host sessions. We asked for an informal session. We asked for more of a, brown bag / let's do a sit down or BOF, if you will, right? Instead of just a full pro forma session, and they have accepted it at first, but then declined due to inability to schedule us properly.
Yeah, no, I'm handling that, Jan.
Okay. Elad, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was invited to speak to their team in let's say in about 3 weeks, and then based on that they might decide to give us some space, because they claimed they were unclear about the connection between the two organizations, and I explained to them that there's a clear connection, and now they'll hear me out. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, our submission, are you familiar with our submission, or have you seen it?
No, I have not.
No, okay. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to use the link to the old Google Drive, because that's where it lives, but I'll post it in a second as soon as I find it in the chat here.
Okay, thank you.
So you could see what we submitted and what we really were planning to achieve, which should absolutely support your plea or your position there.
So we also have SDC on September 12th and 15th. I put it in the chat window.
Oh, that's right. Is that the SNEA one that Joe was talking about?
Yeah, we have I'm meeting Joe to look at the deck. He's at least doing some work, and today afternoon I'm talking to him. If we do some work on the deck today, I could take that.
So that's in a month, and is Joe the speaking, and you're gonna go with him? Is that it?
Yeah, both of us. Yeah.
Perfect. And then the other one, the ONI Summit? Or ONE One Summit? Where's that?
In Seattle.
Do we,
So it's predominantly networking based and a lot of telcos there.
So the submission date most likely is over. Not sure if Sridhar, you can help us through the Linux Foundation somehow.
Yeah, I can try. I can definitely try.
okay. Do we have a link for that one?
I'll give me a second.
And Jan, is this the presentation we did at Austin? Is that the one you want to review to start with?
Well,
Did
we
you
have
have a-
two. Yeah, we have two. One is this one here. Which is a generic presentation that we updated as one of the last. Let me put it in the chat here. Just bear with me a second. Why is it not clicking? Okay, so this is generic, as I call it. We updated it as one of the last things that we did as a part of the vision group meetings, right, before we shut down and transfer. And then there is the one that you and others presented at the OSS.
Okay.
And so I think we should, if not converge them, but have like an executive versions of presentation, like 3 to 5 slides max, and then a more detailed one that people can pull from and build their own decks. What I would suggest and what I would actually request, so we don't lose track of that, is that we maintain the master copies and all the variations in a single spot, so that people A, have access at any given time, B, know what has been presented exactly, to the slide, to the last dot, so there's no misinterpretations, and C, we have kind of, we have an evolving body of work that, people will contribute to, so that is not lost.
Right. And yes. I know the TSC talked about that, and they were fine with using Google Drive to collaborate, but they wanted anything that was presented to be hosted back in GitHub and frozen. Here's what was presented, or here's the template, and then here's what was actually presented at the various events. And they were going to ask us to tackle that, creating those.
Well, I mean,
The archives.
Yeah, we have the ability to attach files, right, on the GitHub.
Yep.
So for better or worse, I think Microsoft Office is the common standard there.
Yep.
So we could
Office or whatever Google presentation is
yeah,
called.
I mean, you can't really save Google presentation, in as a hard copy unless you convert it to Microsoft Office. So they should leave on the for collaboration and tweaking. I think it's easier to work with Google Drive. But once the final version is ready and it's presented or being presented, it should be snapshotted and placed on the GitHub with appropriate tagging, and also the event name, presenters' names, et cetera, all the details. I don't know how people feel about that, but to me, that's like that's the way to maintain sanity. Otherwise, it's all gonna go completely bananas. So anyway, these two decks are what we have today, and I would dare to say that majority of people who have been participating in the various outreach activities are familiar and approving of this. but I still wanted to maybe spend some time here to walk through the slides and make sure we have kind of, you know, unanimous understanding and support for the slides that we
Mhm.
have.
Perfect. First, I mean, should we go through this one here, the one that we presented at Austin? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, well, I would start with the other one just because it actually may need more help.
This one may need more help.
Yeah, I think, you know, there are a couple of things there that is very much a Red Hat flavored, just because, you know, of origins
Well,
of
yeah,
this
you
project.
guys, you and Chris created this one, I think.
Right. So I would say we probably want to, you know, take some of the stuff away and, you know, generalize it as much as possible. I would go to,
Should I make a copy of this and
yeah, go for it. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, call it like an exec version or whatever. Template. Okay, fine.
oh, why is it in the DB Vision subgroup? I put it in the wrong place. I'll move it later.
Quick question.
Yes.
Sorry I was late,
Yeah,
but
too.
hey, overran meeting ran over. If I want to download a copy of that deck, how do I do that? I don't use Google Docs very often.
would
You go to the
into-
link and there's a, let me see if I can find it for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'll download.
Oh, I didn't see that. I was trying to make a copy and it trying to save it locally and it wouldn't let
Yeah.
me. Never mind. Thank you.
And then you can
Sorry.
choose whatever format you want it in.
My bad.
No problem.
So
Thank
by
you.
the way, Paul and others, I think for the GitHub, we may actually, if we're interested, we may be able to download this as SVGs, right, or PNGs, and just have like a slide show or collection of
Yep.
pictures, right? So people don't have to download it or open it; they can just scroll through. We did this for our inaugural event, the kickoff event for the
Oh, that's right.
Diamond Bluff.
Mhm.
And it worked beautifully. I think we could replicate that as well. I believe Kyle was helping with that, or he did that. So we should reach out and figure out what was done.
Yeah, so I would say that we don't use this this slide, but rather we use this as this was the slide that was
Absolutely. Yeah, take the background. Yeah, copy that and go there. And we'll just did you paste the link to this new file in the
yes.
chat, or could you? Actually, I know where to look. So
Jan,
go
the link
there.
the link you pasted is a generic. Which file is that? Is that the one you're showing, or that's the one
no,
that Paul just
that's the
pasted?
one that we started from. But Paul started to modify it. He cloned that file.
I
So
cloned it, and so we could modify it, and I just pasted that link in
Got it.
the
perfect. And that's the one we can all step into and start tweaking as we need.
how's that?
Perfect.
I've just requested, Paul, I've just requested access to that file. I don't have access to it, so.
Okay. And I just heard it come in. Give me one
All
second.
right.
All right. So the title slide notwithstanding, I think the next one I would nix.
Yep.
Because it's Yeah, it's just based on some research that we did, and while it's somewhat relevant, not necessarily needed here.
So you're saying kill this slide or hide
Yeah.
it?
I would say kill it completely. I think that's too much of a red hat
Yeah.
flavor in this.
Same here.
Well, so this one is actually up for discussion, I think. But I'd like to hear opinions. While we build it and we used, the then available, visuals for us, I think it's important to establish the footprint which we're trying to address. And I'm not necessarily advocating for the title of the slide, but in the kind of spirit of understanding where this technology fits and how it lands, I would do something like that. I would have a slide on that, but absolutely open for, or we should have a discussion on this. Just don't.
I would not go down this path because if you go to shows that are focused on cloud, we are not focused on cloud specifically. So I think that the first line is correct. Although again, modern apps, I don't know. I mean, I think it needs to be more honest, which is we are going after DPU deployments everywhere. So that part is correct, it's everywhere. But what we're actually doing is helping you or helping the deployment partners deploy seamlessly wherever they want. And wherever they want could be everywhere, but we're not specifically targeting modern apps. We're not specifically targeting, virtual cloud or private cloud, or just everything. So it could be infrastructure as a service, it could be bare metal, it could be ISVs, telco cloud, it could be all of them. And I would much rather say that we're focused on the DPU ecosystem or IPU ecosystem and not say where it goes, because that's up to our clients.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I guess fundamentally, we're not disagreeing much. Fundamentally, what I'd like to understand is whether or not we want to build a couple of objectives into the slide. One is, and I think that's the general agreement, that we are building our stack and we're building APIs based on the general purpose operating system. And so it has to be said that we will not deviate from that, or it has to be stated somewhere. It doesn't have to be on this slide though. It could be done later. And then the second one, if we skip the footprints that you see in the middle, physical, virtual, whatever, it's different footprints where this can be deployed. Are we saying that the containerization or containers will be the vehicles to deliver the OPI stack? And if that's an agreed upon structure, then it also should be highlighted.
I believe it is, but we should ask everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, I would say hide this slide for now, and let's revisit this with a I don't know who, but let's revisit that. But I think your point about the top line there was, the type of applications or deployments maybe a little bit too prescriptive.
Mm-hmm. So I put this one in. This was the second slide in the Austin presentation, and it's got our approved.
We have that already towards the bottom. So here's the idea, right? It's this deck. The reason why I wanted to start with it, this deck is basically your elevator pitch, right? This is something to introduce someone completely unfamiliar with the space or the effort to why this would be important. And so before we even introduce the actual OPI project, it's good to set the backdrop and kind of make sure that the person understands and fluent in the concepts that what our charter is, it's going to resonate with that person once it's made available. Yeah, so slide 3 again, I would say that it should probably be combined with the slide 4. And we should talk about kind of the disaggregation and more specifically, kind of the mismatch of the abstractions, because it would lead into the following, the slide number 6. Because that's our, this is probably the best representation we have so far as to what, where, how and where this is, this is being,
So
conceived
comment on,
of. What are you doing with SmartNIC? Sorry.
Oh, down here, it was just, it was bleeding over. It was word wrapped. So I just made it. word
Sorry.
wrapped.
Yeah, no, because that's the whole point. Yeah, the SmartNIC versus DPU. Cool. Yeah, so that's, I think 3 and 4 should be combined. I don't know what particular visual you want to use. Doesn't matter here. And then the slide 5 is an eye chart in a way, but it could go into speaker notes for 6, because that's where you want to talk really about this, having the 6 as a visual.
And does this come directly from the minimum viable solution?
Last I checked, this was copy paste, but maybe we should validate that. Yeah, we have tweaked this. Hang on a second. I'll tell you what prior to this we did. Versions, all versions. Oh no, this is new one. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we looked at that not too long ago. So I'm assuming this is post OPI formation. So this should be compliant with our terminology.
So we just need to check that it is aligned.
Right, and move this slide into speaker notes for 6. So hide it here.
Okay.
I would hide it right here. Yeah.
Skip. I get it.
Yep. Yeah, then we need to align the titles and combine 3 and 4. So it's something that we could do. Like I don't want to waste everyone's time on this on the call. We could. People are welcome to take a pen here as well, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And once we kind of explain the changes and kind of the vision of this new architecture, we actually claim the hill was the flag and introduce the OPI.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I'm missing, maybe I didn't see it yet, the main thing that the clients are concerned with, or the deployment partners are concerned
Can
with.
you speak up just a little bit? I lose you.
I'm saying, I think I haven't seen so far, maybe I'm missing, maybe it's one of the slides and I'm missing it, but the main thing that bothers our deployment partners, and the main request that I keep on hearing, vendor agnostic, no vendor lock-in.
Yeah, it says right here on the next on the slide 8, create vendor agnostic framework and architecture for GPU, IPU based software stacks.
Okay.
Right here. So yeah, it is coming. So once we stated what our objectives are, then we go into the details in what exactly does it mean for different different category, user categories or something like that. By the way, one thing that occurred to me is that we're not necessarily speaking with kind of a customer or consumer of our, of the output of our project, kind of hat on. So that's another thing that we could potentially tweak. Like it says what we're going to do, but it does not have a user benefit, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that needs to be addressed. So if you want to take a note on that, Paul, we can revisit this.
We already know as well what are we focused on, and I think that as these progress, we can show both progress and show the focus points, and to show how well we're doing. So it will generate interest, because I think that we have a lot to be proud of up until this moment, and we should definitely talk about it.
Well, again, it's I think this is not a status report in a way. This is actually an intro, a set of introduction slides for someone who is not familiar with, with the concept or with the project itself. In the next slide on how to participate, I think we lead kind of towards the fact that, okay, now that we introduce you to this concept, now that you know about the project, this is what you can do. And this slide needs refinement because we have obviously changed the structure and simplified the structure significantly on the subgroups. We also have, we also have probably a better way of recruiting now. And where I'm going with that is that once we introduce kind of the structure, and depending on the target, the person or the organization that we're talking to, align them with how and where they can participate, we could introduce, on the next slide, we can introduce, what are the current, outcomes, or what do we have, what have we done already to date, right?
I'm sorry, but does the group think we need to have IPDK everywhere? I mean, it's, again, it's, I don't know what it's doing here.
What it's doing here is it's as of when this was designed and built, it was representing the only contribution that we had to the project. And we don't have them today, so I don't want to talk about it because we need to discuss that in more generic terms, and whether or not we're going to call out IPDK separately or not, we would have to have that discussion with him. He has a proposed way of incorporating IPDK, and I think this is something that CSC has taken on to decide and kind of and provide their guidance on, for the lack of better definition.
I will tell the group here that the feedback that I got was, we can definitely discuss it with them, but the feedback that I got was very clear. IPDK is not vendor agnostic, and if we go down that path, we will lose a lot of ground.
Okay, well, I cannot have an argument here, and I think we should not. This is a matter of CSC determining how they want to handle the differences, where in the stack it fits. This is more of a technical guidance. We agreed on that a while ago, so I don't want to resurface that if we can avoid doing that. CSC has to essentially establish the boundaries of how different projects will be.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Let's discuss it CSC, because Dan did want to bring up the incorporation of IPDK under OPI, and this needs to be discussed. And let's discuss it and make a decision, then act accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we will build, any chart they want. And I'm jokingly saying that, but yeah, we can tweak this in any way, shape, or form that is needed to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
Venkat, you were saying something, or you were trying to say something? Sorry if we talked over you.
No.
Okay, I saw you. Yeah, your mic unmuted for a second there. Okay, Well, you know, we also need to look at the last slide, slide 10 right now. And actually, since, do we have Sridhar still on? Yeah. So Sridhar, what is the official way to engage Linux Foundation? How do one person or entity reaches out and indicates interest in joining or participating in OPI?
Okay, I think in the OPI website there'll be a join link which will go to the this specific the URL also created for this OPI. It will go to the opportunity. So this is for the paid membership kind of you're referring to, or how is it?
It's for either. We should
No, for either
state,
they can just join any of the mailing lists and start attending these meetings. There's nothing specific for the. Whereas for the membership based, they'll just have to click that join thing, and it will. I think the URL,
well,
the link.
right. Yeah, right now we have on the opi.org website, we have the link to the same form, which
Correct.
is this form here that I'm looking at. But Paul, if you can click on fill out this form so you can show. And what I wanted to validate with you, if this indeed is a form that someone's monitoring and you know, and you'd be getting the input from this, or there is another form that we should, because this is something that we created, I believe, a while ago.
We did, and this is Chris is the only one monitoring this form.
Right.
And I haven't seen her, and we haven't done anything with that, nor the contact list that we had since.
No, see, I think the one you have clicked is the if you go back to the OPI webpage, right?
Yes, that is the same form.
That is the contribution to the project. Whereas if you for the joining as a membership, there's a different link. So that one somebody is monitoring
Guys,
Right.
from the Linux Foundation.
I believe
Yes.
we can offer tiers here, like many of these open communities do, which is you can either just come to the subgroups. I mean, it stated it in the previous slide, but it wasn't specific. Maybe you can just call it by a name, like participant, contributor, or full member,
Okay.
like different tiers. So people understand that they're more than welcome to just join and listen. They're more than welcome to contribute. They don't have to be a member to contribute. But if they want to be a member, they have to do the extra step.
Can you
Right.
take us, Paul, can you take us to this link in the chat? And scroll down a little bit. It's already there, just scroll down, yeah. So we have this kind of, you know, this is what we have on the website right now. And generally speaking, except for this form, the Google form, which I wasn't sure what's happening with it and whether or not we should be pointing this form to this new alias that we have for the outreach group, or we should still keep it, you know, under Chris's, you know, name, which probably doesn't make sense. But anyway, if this
Right.
form is what we've got, then that's how we gathering general interest. And, you know, we can tweak it, we can, you know, we can update the form or etc. But I think it's probably isn't effective.
So my suggestion, Jan, is we kill this form. We kill all references to this form on the website, and we suggest that people join Slack or
mailing
join the mailing lists. And I think
Yes.
that's, and once they get on the mailing list, they're in a contact list. And once they join Slack, they can message the subgroup owners and start participating that way. Once they join the mailing list, they can find the subgroups and find the invites for the various meetings. Is that how it's done in other groups, Sridhar? Does that sound correct?
Yeah. So very similar. So just join the. In fact, some of the projects doesn't have the Slack also, so they just join this mailing list and start attending these meetings, and they can go from a participant to the contributor eventually, and again to the next to the maintenance as and when they contribute more. So that's the normal transition for any contributors to maintainers thing. Whereas for the membership, of course, it's common for all the projects.
Yes, that's fine.
Mailing list is the kind of a starting point, and I start attending the meetings. Some before start joining the mailing list, some directly attend the meetings. So they just look at the meetings page and look for what are the meetings that are happening, and go ahead. So we want to put in that OPI webpage a link to the all the meetings, which will point to the calendar thing, and so that they can start attending the meetings, and then depending on their interest, they can join.
Got it?
Okay, but yeah, I generally agree. I think we also need to swap on the page. We need to swap, like we need to put OPI project membership at the top and then have the contribution better defined or whatever, right? So people can see that they can contribute in more ways than participating as a paying member. Or maybe whatever the order is. I think we should have a very clear explanation that the participation is free.
Yeah, I
And
think
contribution is
I see 3 tiers: participant, contributor, full member.
Yeah, and but by participant, we mean that people just observing, right? So it's more like observer,
Sure.
not contributing. So basically just listening in, which is fine. I mean, that's fine.
So I think
Hey,
we've got,
when we're trying to recruit people to OPI, are we only looking to add additional members, like member companies to OPI, or also recruit more people from the existing member companies to participate?
yes and yes.
Yes. No? All right.
Yes, no, I think we want to recruit more people from member companies to contribute and to participate. We also would like additional companies to join as members, especially as Alad is calling them development partners or deployment partners. So end users. I'd love to see Verizon and Comcast and others in the ilk of Tencent join the membership ranks.
I completely agree. And let me remind you that contribution is not always code. Contribution
Correct.
from a deployment partner could be guidance.
Yeah, no, we absolutely. I think we definitely want more, and we also potentially want individual contributors. Speaking of contributors, right, to have kind of the full spread of the potential, ecosystem players.
Mhm.
But anyway, I think we're coming up on the hour. I know I have a hard stop.
Yeah, I do too. So what I'll do is I will tackle this page, Jan. I'll work on this. What do you think, just real quick, of these slides 9 through 13, which I thought were a good build in Austin to get to the trust boundary slide?
Well, what I was planning on proposing or thinking of proposing is that we actually have like a small work group here, right? So we don't drag everyone through this, and whoever was going to raise their hand and work on this will present on the next week's meeting with the with the consolidated version of the deck, and then we can discuss that. Does that make sense? Would people be able to do that? Participate? Just general question.
Yeah, folks are dropping off.
Yeah,
but yes, I agree.
I'm not so sure about the cowboy theme. That was appropriate for Austin, but going forward, maybe not.
Okay, got it. Thank you. That's a good call.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It was appropriate for Austin, but we should find a more global
so why don't
theme.
we continue this on Slack, and once you clean up this, whatever you want to clean up, Paul, just let's do a quick poll as who wants to participate in editing the deck. And I raise my hand, of course, but I also want others to contribute as much as possible. So it's a really a group effort. All right, I got to drop, but thank you so much, Paul, for hosting the call and everyone for showing up. This was great.
All right, and I
Right.
will stop the recording